This is one of my favorite sourdough breads I've ever made. This is a sourdough pizza bread. There's swirls of basil, tomato, or pizza sauce, cheese, and it's all swirled in this sourdough. Look at this.
To start, we're going to autolyze our dough by adding 600 grams of bread flour to 400 grams of water. And you just kind of stir it together and you let it sit.
Been 45 minutes, so now we're going to start adding our sourdough starter and our salt. When your dough's finished autolyzing, it looks something like this. And now we're going to add a little portion of our sourdough starter and the salt, and we're going to add it in increments. So what I'm going to do is just kind of spoon about a tablespoon worth of starter and a pinch of the salt. Kind of pick it up and then fold it. It's a little messy.
Think of this process as like laminating the dough, where you're making layers of sourdough and salt to kind of incorporate it. You're not going to really like knead it in. It's just going to be like a folding process like this.
All right, now at this stage, we're just going to let this rest for about 30 minutes and then we're going to fold it again.
You're going to stretch and fold the dough about every 30 minutes to develop the gluten, and then you let it raise for 4 hours.
It's pizza bread making time. All right, so our dough has inflated. It's been a few hours. It's about doubled in size, just under that. Here we got the nice surface all floured. So carefully, without deflating it, I'm gonna get this out. So what we're going for is to make like a really nice long rectangle with the dough. So add our pizza sauce. I don't want to do too much. We're only going to do like 2 tablespoons worth.
Okay, I lied. We're going to actually do 3 tablespoons. And after you add and spread your pizza sauce, you're going to add your favorite kind of cheese. I did a vegan cheese.
Added all of our cheese. Going to add in some fresh herbs. I'm doing a combination of fresh basil and oregano. Okay, so now at this step, we're just going to roll the dough up.
Think of this process as kind of like rolling up cinnamon rolls.
We're going to take the dough and we're just going to slit it, or cut it, slit.
And you're going to cut it all the way up, except for at the very tip. You're going to leave that base right there. And then we're going to start folding it in and kind of braiding it. And this really helps that you get those really nice swirls, and it makes the bread so beautiful. And when you do it this way, you don't have to score the top of the bread for the steam. So after we have everything all shaped up, we're going to put it in our banneton.
Now at this point, very carefully put it in the banneton.
And once we have it in our banneton, we're going to put it in the refrigerator overnight, and this is called the cold ferment. This is where the sourdough does its magic and gives it that sour flavor.
And now we wait to bake it in the morning. All right, it is the next day. I have my Dutch oven in the oven preheating, so then we're gonna bake this once the Dutch oven is nice and hot.
Dutch oven is in the oven at 500 degrees Fahrenheit, and it's gonna be in there for 30 minutes. Once the Dutch oven is preheated, place the dough on some parchment paper so it doesn't stick.
All right, let's get this Dutch oven out of the oven, so now it's done preheating. All right, let's get this in. Just gonna grab the edges. And then we're gonna put the lid back on. And then let's bake this. A trick that I found to help make sure that the sourdough doesn't burn at the bottom is we're gonna take a baking sheet and we're gonna put it in the row right underneath where the bread is cooking. So just gonna, woo, that's hot. slide that under.
After 23 minutes, remove the lid and you're gonna bake the bread for another 2 minutes without the lid. It'll look done when it looks a little bit caramelized on top. Everything's golden brown, just like this. Here's the hard part. We have to let this cool for at least an hour before we cut into it. Look at this. Be sure to follow and subscribe for more plant-based recipes.